Okay, it's 1:26:27 on the 22nd of May 2020. I'm just directly thinking about a lot of things, and like when I was a young girl, like a little girl, I used to think that I was in tune with the cat in a way. Say little kids, they are quite spiritual, and if you believe in reincarnation, they're not far from having been human being before. Anyway, I won't go into that too much, but I used to always feel like, like if I was carrying a heavy load, so was the cat, and so was my dad at work, because my dad used to work all the time. So anyway, now I have been listening to some spiritual type tapes and meditation and different frequency, good frequency music. Excuse, and I don't know if that's helping, but I'm sorry, I just burped before. The lotto seems to be going ahead. Um, I ran out of a bit of money, and then my dad he sent me some more. I don't want him to do this. I owed the mechanic some money, which I was going to pay next week. But I yes, I haven't had heaps of luck with the car. Maybe I'm doing something right. I mean, I'm no angel, but spent a bit of money on the car. And like last Sunday, I'd gone to the can recyclers, and the guy there, Tony, he's really nice. He's very kind, and I went there today because I just thought, I'll just get rid of the cans in the back of the car because they were from the units and they were smelling like cigarette. And I said to Tony there, oh, I had to spray the car. By the way, I sprayed it with fly spray because that's all I had. And he goes, oh, it's probably because I'm smoking, but it wasn't. Anyway, in short, I've gone to the recyclers. This is after an incident today where my key, which I meant to use the button on it, not use it manually to open the car, but that wasn't working. Perhaps the battery was running out. I used the car manually, then the alarm went off, and I played around with it. The car started, and I had a feeling maybe, something's going to go wrong with the car. So anyway, I went to this like scrap metal place called Sims. Really, you only get 10 cents for a kilo of steel, so it's hardly worth it, really. I have at a friend's place part of a car that I can hardly pick up, but at the most I'd only probably get $5 for it. So is it worth a hernia for that? But also it's got rusty nuts and bolts that I'd have to undo. So like when I think of people in the street that beg for money that are probably on benefits, like do they go and try and do things like some other people do in order to get money? Like money, it does not come that easy. Anyway, so really this has been quite convoluted in how I've delivered this. But yeah, so I've gone and taken some cans. This is after I had the RACQ come, and I've gone to the mechanic, and I forgot to tell the mechanic the RACQ reckon had nothing to do with the alarm, which he turned the battery off. So that means I've got to reset the radio, which my dad did once before. That wasn't an easy job, but we know how to do it now. Um, yeah, so the car wasn't earthing, and I showed the mechanic something else because like also the oil wasn't put back in where it was meant to be, and I thought, oh, it's just been at mechanics, but mechanics don't always look at that. And the RACQ said that could have just popped. But there's another cap on some oil that's nowhere to be seen. I asked the mechanic about that. He said, just go to the wreckers. So I've got the top of an ice cream or an ice cream container on top of that. So anyway, that's cars for you. That's second-hand cars. And the RSEQ asked me about the motor and starter motor, and I do think it has got a new one. I've had the car for 2 years. No. who knows? So that's cars for you. And when they age, this is what happens. They're just like people. In the past, I've had problems with cars because I've had housos and paranoid schizophrenics chuck bricks and rocks through my cars. So anyway, that was almost a lifetime, that one that I don't really want to remember ago. But however, in 2014, when I realised I'd won the lotto and lost the ticket, I still thought, thank God, because I've got some good karma come back to me because I've had a lot of bad luck. But still, I have to prove this lotto win. And yes, lo and behold, and I checked many times with the lotto person, they are letting me resubmit a claim. Now, this is good. I don't suppose they expect people to keep fighting for something, but when you know you've done something, you want to prove yourself. And the other reason being is because I know the details of the day, most of the details, enough to probably prove this is my win. Like I don't know some exacts, but I know roundabouts. And the only exact thing I know is the actual day I bought the ticket and whether numbers were chosen or not. Um, but like even today, I found a little slip of paper that I was putting around cards at DFO in order to find a witness. And after 5 years, I got one phone call from those slips of paper, and a lady that happened to be buying when I bought in 2014 happened to be there in 2019 and found the flyer, and I got it. So that's like striking gold almost. It's not officially proving the win because this lady, I'm having a little bit of trouble because her command of English is not so great. And I asked because we had no record of her playing on a lotto card, although she had used them extensively. So perhaps it's on your ex husband's card, but her ex husband's in jail and she doesn't want to know about him. So that's where we're at. And I just told her, like, it's a no brainer. I'm offering her a big amount for, I'm offering everyone, even people that haven't helped me, funds. But with the witnesses, like I can't. I know it's my win and I have to prove it, but it's too hard for me to do everything by myself. And plus, I do rely somewhat on the witnesses, especially the one that has the credit card statement, because without that, it's very hard to show providence, to show that I was in the store. Today, I actually went into the post office and Billy, I think she used to be Canadian. She's the lady that works in the post office. Oh, that's what I want to mention. Like, she deals with lots of crackpots like myself. I remember one day, like about 10 years ago, I'd been down south, and every time I'd go down south, I'd send a lot of my items back home there. So, I'd feel at home. And then on coming back, I had a boyfriend, so I'd send stuff to him. And one day there was so much stuff that we had to get a shopping trolley to move out of the post office. Now, while I was in the post office, there was some other man waiting, and I said, "Oh, I really need to see Billy." He goes, "Well, that's okay. Just tell her that she owes me $1 million." So he was a regular, and a lot of people actually go to that post office, I think partly because of the lady called Billy. Now, there was one girl, she looked like she may have been autistic, but she bought a guitar and had it posted to her and was pulling out money, and she said, and I want 50, but I don't want it in a $50 note. And Billy has just got such a good manner and way of dealing with people that, and again, what I will say is she's one of the longest people I know that know me that have worked at DFO, and she can also confirm, like, it's very hard to confirm that I was there that day buying the ticket, although I'm claiming to be. But Billy can confirm that I frequented that shopping centre a lot because I used to live in the area and I lived at Edmonton, and when my son had his accident, we had to go to the psychologist there and the solicitor there, and we were getting the internet put on. So we went to the Dick Smith that doesn't exist, just like the old newsagent doesn't. Anyway, and I relayed to Billy what was going on with my lotto and how the newsagent lady from the newsagent actually said, even though they have a shop ledger, that their records fade. So, you know, I mean, I suppose with a black light, they could still look at things, but news agencies are meant to keep all their transactions in a day, I suppose, for 7 years. The girl from taxation office told me they just put their monthly, you know, what would you call it, accounting in. But I thought they were meant to keep all their transactions by law, but whether we can see them or not. But the main thing is that I still have my witnesses, two people that I didn't make up, that I remember from being in the store, that, like, for example, the first witness, um, when I approached her, she, I said, "Do you remember buying a lotto such and such a day?" And she said, "Yes." And incidentally, her husband emailed me the credit card statement the next day. This is someone I never met before. But later she said to me, "Do you know what day you bought the lotto? Which day it was?" And I told her that she already did, because by then she'd provided me with the credit card statement of the very day that I'd bought my lotto. So it's a case of, I've been searching and I've found two people that happen to be there that day. One we can fully prove, and through their lotto buying habits, we can prove that they went extensively to that shop as well as others. However, like, I searched and I found two people, and it was only two people that, if you could call it bait if you like. I've gone up to them and asked them a random question, or I've put a flyer on a car. I don't know where I've put it now, but it's just a little piece of paper like that to say reward in the hundreds of thousands. You remember buying a ticket, with this draw, and you're dressed in sporting, were you dressed in sporting gear, and do you have a long ponytail? And I may have put Asian in appearance, but I knew the lady was Filipino. That's how I got my second witness. And out of a whole bunch of flyers that I put in, say a few hundred cars, because I not only put them in the shopping centre, I went up and down of the car park, right around the shopping centre. I probably went around two or three times. It was very tiring. But I also put them in letterboxes as well, like streets around the shopping centre. So lo and behold, what are the chances of that happening 5 years later? Me remembering the way someone looks 5 years later, and it's not just a look. It's somewhat of a miracle that 5 years later, I've got to put flyers around on the day that I bought a ticket. 5 years before, not the exact day, but the actual um, day, which was a Wednesday. And on the Thursday, I've got a phone call to say, "I think I'm your person." And they said I'm Asian, because I said Asian appearance. I said, "Well, I think the lady was Filipino." And the lady goes, "My name's Erica Flores Canetti." She was a Filipino lady. And when I first saw her Facebook, it had a picture of a mother. I said, "No, it doesn't look like you." But then showed me her. Oh, I'm getting tired, my eye. But I have met with her later, and she's given me some paperwork. But she I don't know. She just, I don't feel like she tries as hard as I do, because she said she'd given me some bank statement, but all she did was give me the front page of a statement, which really had nothing on it. See, to prove that even my witnesses were there that day, we need some form of providence, as in They shopped in that shopping centre, like any receipts. But of course, after now it's 6 years, who's going to keep receipts? Although I do, and I'm still looking. So you can have a look at my floor, and this is still every day it's like this because I keep getting another bag out of the garage. So I'd love to just chuck everything out. I mean, I used to keep articles for my son to read, and I would like my family to see, what's happening in the paper so they could read these things. But nobody wants old newspapers. However, in between old newspapers and phone books, as this, I have to go through every page before I throw them out. But my psychologist said she keeps the front of phone books because they have great maps in them. But yeah, I'm keeping things such as this because I may have a ticket in them, and I'm finding it hard to throw out anything from 2014 when I bought the ticket. The other thing is I had a black plastic bag full of tickets, and I don't know if I took it down south or here. And of course, one of my family members throws a lot of my items out, and so I feel like if I've taken it down south, it doesn't exist because I've looked. But it may be somewhere in this home, which I haven't got through to everywhere because it's very tiring. And we had my mum sick for a while and she passed. My son getting over his thing, and I wasn't really focusing, although I knew of the win and couldn't forget it. I couldn't focus on pulling messy bags out and going through them bit by bit. I can't even have a visitor here when I do that. I have to put the things away. But this is tiring me a lot. Anyway, thank you. Hope all is well. But you don't get anywhere without trying. And I found out that my son is now, having had to change his career, he's now doing honours social work, which is great because he went to a school where they didn't really press learning that much, and he had his difficulties, and now he's proving to be highly, look, he always was intelligent, but he's highly resourceful. He's able to accomplish things that I haven't done. So I'm so proud. I'm happy about that anyways. So let's hope I can prove the lotto too. A lot of people are well deserving of it. Thank you.